hear me now? Okay. When the settings are messed up, I'm coming in. I had a couple weeks off. Been getting ready. I'm going over a lot of ideas. Hello, everybody. Good to be back. How are all of you? But yeah, I was gone for a couple weeks. I was going over, I don't know. I'm just going over all my thoughts. Lancini, how are you? Good to see you. Yeah, sorry I've been gone. Going over all my thoughts. But yeah, you know, I did, I don't know, maybe like 3 or 4 streams so far. Just helped me better clarify how I wanted to, prepare for these streams. So, just refining preparation process, progressing. But it's been good. It's definitely been a busy couple weeks. Yeah. How are all you? How has your June been? Definitely getting warm here. I'm also thinking about keeping Townscaper on. I really like it. We're gonna go for it again. See how it goes. See if I can make this work. June's been fun. I like the upside down face, thank you. Very cool. Let's see, hold on. Okay. I'm just making sure this wasn't broken. Cool. I think we're all set up. All right, let's get started. For those of you who don't know, we are doing the Magical Mystical Book Tour. It's not a book club, it is a book tour, and right now we are reading Mindfulness in Plain English by Bhante Gunaratana. Quotes down below. We're on the wrong quote. Hello, let's see. There we go. Yeah, so it's a book tour. We're covering this book. No need to read it. I bring the quotes into the chat, into the stream, and yeah, just cover about 5 or 6 quotes, and just cover and talk about the the quotes that are a little more difficult to understand. So, oh yeah, here, let me do a exclamation point Discord. Join the Discord. I leave some thoughts and reflections also on the book, and you're welcome to leave your thoughts and reflections on the book. Just a place I'm trying to build for people, you know, who are interested in this spirituality stuff and want to actually make some spiritual progress. Try and find some sound, viable practices that we can actually practice instead of getting lost in, you know, woohoo confusion. Cool. So yeah, Magical Mystical Book Tour. Join the Discord, and we shall get started with the very first quote. First quote is, cultivating mindfulness culminates in the realization of the truth as it is. It means seeing without prejudices or biases that spring from greed or hatred. I like this one because every time I hear, you know, truth as it is, what is truth as it is, you know? And in this quote, it means the truth as it is seeing without prejudices or biases. Yeah. So I think that's asking us to notice when we have interpretations springing from greed and hatred. Greed and hatred meaning I want something, and I can, go on thinking about how I want this thing, um, daydreaming about it, imagining it, and then it can quickly turn into I resent these reasons why I don't have it, right? The greed and the hatred. So we have this internal dialogue um, arising, a lot of it unconsciously, meaning we do it. I mean, we're just always thinking about it all the time. We have these things we want, we think about how we want them, and then we go into it's paired together. We think about how we want them, and then it delves into the resentment thing. Yeah. So I mean, we can take like physical appearance, right? Looking in the mirror, or going to the gym, and we have goals, ways we want to look, and which is awesome. Nothing wrong with that. But if we're not careful, we need to see this pattern that I want to look this way, and I'm excited about it, whatever. I want to do it, but the mind can move pretty quickly into self-criticism, or especially with physical appearance. I mean, why do I have these genetics? Not fair that I look this way. Not fair that they look this way. They're a terrible person. And then we start becoming critical. Hey, Mr. Yogi, what's up, new brother? Dude, Dharmadam, glad to see you. Glad to see you. We're just getting into the first quote. How are you? How have you been the last couple of weeks? Anyway, we're talking about seeing the truth as it is, and what that means is noticing our prejudices and biases, which means noticing our internal dialogue and how they spring up from our greed and hatred. Right? And the next example is definitely money, right? So thinking about money, thinking about all the fun things we could have, fun things we could buy. Oh, it'd be so cool if we had this and this and this. And again, that's fine. We just got to be careful, because when the wanting and the desires lead into craving, where it goes from like light dreaming, I mean, we all want things, we all have preferences, but it goes from light dreaming to craving. It's a deeper like needing, and you're getting into craving because your mind will shift. It can shift into it shifts from greed to hatred pretty quickly, and then I hate my current circumstances. Why can't I go out and eat at restaurants like I want to? Look at all these people sitting in the bars, and they have money to spend, and why don't I have money to spend? What's wrong with me? So it's just when the desire becomes we can notice when a desire starts to become kind of toxic, when that shift from desire, craving, turns into resentment really easily. Another example is let's see, Dharma. Where's my thing? Damn, I thought desire and craving were two different links. Not so. Two different links. Thought desire and craving were two different links. Tell me what you're thinking. I don't know what you mean by links. I'm curious. 12 links. 12 links. Links of dependent origination. Oh, okay, right. Okay, yeah. Oh, let's I would think, okay, craving. Let me think real quick. I need to study it more, dude. The dependent origination is a freaking, it's a beast. I love it though. But let me tie this into dependent origination real quick. So, because this is dependent origination, craving, clinging. Okay, so, right. So, craving, I can't remember what the translation is. I think that's tanha. I think it's tanha in the Buddhist tradition. It's like we were talking about. So let's go through the next one. I really want craving and thirst. Yes. I like the how Tanisro Bhikkhu talks about it. You should look him up. All his books are for free online. He talks about craving as hunger. Yeah, I really want this relationship, right? Maybe you know this person at work or school. I don't know where you're at, right? And craving is that the wanting. I really like, you're hungry for a meal. I want to be with this person. I crave it. And then we step into the next step on dependent origination, which is clinging. And clinging is, so craving is hunger. Clinging is the act of feeding. And how do we feed? We feed with our fabrications, which is what the Buddhists call it. But there's 5 fabrications. We'll break it down into 3, and we'll get into these more later. But so how do we feed? So I want this relationship. I'm hungry for it. And then how do I start feeding on that? How do I satisfy that desire in a way? We use our internal dialogue. We use our internal dialogue, or verbal fabrication is the exact translation. And we just, you start imagining it. You think about all the things you'll do together, and you'll just like spend hours mentally feeding on, the possibilities and that excitement. Right. And so that craving, though, it leads, so the craving, that greediness for something you don't have that you want, if it's toxic, right? It's not just a light wanting. Oh yeah, it'd be nice. Like when you're thinking about it all the time, you're creating a trap for yourself, because then it's just going to delve into, after the fantasy's over, what's wrong with me? I'm ugly. Why do they like this person? What do they see in them? They're lame. So it's just it gets critical. It delves into criticism. Toxic. Greed and hatred go together. Greed and hatred go together. That is the point. And so this first quote, cultivating mindfulness, it means seeing without prejudices and biases that spring from greed and hatred. It's noticing. I think the first step is noticing the greed and hatred. Notice the greed and hatred. It's difficult to notice, when you're in a desire spiral, because it's kind of pleasant. I mean, it's a like dependent origination. You're kind of feeding. It's pleasant. But you catch it more when you're in the resentment phase, the hatred. You're resenting yourself, or you're resenting someone else, or you're resenting your situation. You're cursing it, right? And that's where you want to notice, and then you can trace it back. It's like, oh, I'm resenting. There's like, where is that coming from? Oh, it's because I want that person. I want that, just any sense experience. any sense experience, traveling, intimacy, food, um, definitely addictive substances, right? You just constantly think. I mean, that's a really good example. Like you're just constantly thinking about it. I haven't really been addicted to anything, but not like anything hardcore like that anyway. But you know, I imagine, you know, you're constantly thinking about it, and like that's like I'm sure super deep craving, and then I mean, I have like we all have like light addictions. Like, I mean, we know how it is. Phones, um, sensory experiences. So, yeah, when it's toxic, it goes into resentment. So we can notice. We need to notice when we're in a sticky thought spiral. Notice when you're in a sticky thought spiral. You'll probably pick it up at the resentment stage. Oh, why am I so angry? Oh, what do I want? Oh, now I'm mentally reacting because I'm upset that I don't have that thing that I want. Okay, I see what's happening. I see what's going on here. Right? It's an investigation. Okay. Any other examples? Politics, that's another good one. Politics is a good one. I was thinking about that one. It's kind of tricky. I mean, you're just watching the news, especially, you know, mainstream news. And it's so interesting watching that stuff sometimes. It's like, oh, the other side did this. I mean, they're so blatant. Like, the other side did this dumb thing. It's just like, right? And it's just you hear what the other side did, and then it's just immediate indignation. How could they be so stupid? Right? It's just immediate hatred. And like, where's that coming from? Where's that hatred coming from? I think it's just coming from, like, you know, we live in the society. We want to be safe. We want there to be justice, and we want it to be peaceful, and we want it to be fair, right? So we want that, and we think we know, or we identify with a party that we just agree with, and we're like, this is how it's done. This is how we're going to do it. This is how we're going to be safe. This is how I don't have to, you know, be afraid. And then we hear the other side does the exact opposite thing. And immediate, like, so we're greedy for, you know, understandably safety and security. And the other party threatens it, especially mainstream media, you know, likes to definitely make you feel like the other side is threatening it. Maybe they are, maybe they aren't. It's complicated stuff. But anyway, it makes us so angry because underneath that, it's I want to be safe, and then underneath that, it's like, yeah, it's underneath that is, well, you know, one of the biggest sensations, which is fear. You know, we don't want our society to, I don't know, get all messed up. It's scary. So yeah, like you just start hating the other side. So that's just something to notice. What the idea is, it's noticing your hateful spirals, and then it's just always an investigation. This investigation, because the quote is realizing the truth as it is. The truth as it is like what is here, what is now. That's that present talk that's so popular. Check out the city we got going so far. Isn't this great? Love this game. Yeah, making an investigation, thought spiral, hatred, and then notice where that desire is coming from. That's the first step. That is the first, seeing the truth as it is first, noticing our greed and hatred, how they're going together, and how we can get stuck in that slippery slope of wanting something too much into resentment, right? Noticing the greed and hatred. And yeah, so seeing the truth as it is, how do we see the truth as it is? This quote says, it means seeing without prejudices and biases. So that begs the question, how do we see without prejudices and biases? And that'll take us to our next quote of mindfulness in plain English. If you're enjoying this content so far, please check out the Discord. !Discord in the chat. Join the community. It's a magical mystical book club. Name is pending. I think I like it, but you know, I go back and forth. It's new. But anyway, magical mystical book tour. I said it wrong. It's not a book club because you don't have to read the book. We're reading mindfulness in plain English right now. Dharmadam, I saw that you said got some good practice in reading. Did you pick up mindfulness in plain English, or what are you reading right now? But anyway, Dharmadam's in the book club book tour. So you can pick up the book or not. But we're going chapter by chapter in the Discord too. You can leave your insights there or not. Just come check out the stream. I'm not doing a stream schedule exactly, especially as I'm getting more used to just preparation and everything. Oh shoot, look at this. Look at how ugly this is. Let me fix this. Can I do this? There we go. That should look better. That should look better. I was kind of bringing up the sub goal. We have a channel sub goal. 8 subs. At 8 subs, 8 sub points, technically. At 8 sub points, we're donating $10 to WaterAid. Fun goal. So if you enjoy the content, follow and subscribe. Anyway, book tour. You don't have to read the book. Just join the Discord. I'll let you know when I'm going live. And yeah, I just got the quotes up on screen. Read the quotes. We talk about it. Have a good time. Play some Townscaper. Really love this game for the stream. I was struggling with it last time. I was just focused a little too hard. This game's not that hard. I was worried that like if I was just clicking around and having no intention whatsoever, that it would look ugly. But I think it actually, you know, might look better than when I do have intention. So it really works out. It really works out as the game on this channel. Yep. Let me go over to the next quote, and also give me half a second. I'm updating titles. The first title was for the first quote. Why can't you just let it go? You can't let it go because you don't see the greed and hate spiral. And the second title, just updating you since, you know, I don't want you guys sitting in silence, is update all. Next title is, what if you didn't add words? That's an interesting question, isn't it? What if you didn't add words? Cool, everything's updated. Back to the chat. Cool. Here we go. We're in here. So, next quote. Here we go. We should not confuse feelings and emotions with mental formations. We should watch feelings exactly as they are. When we bundle feelings and perceptions and mental formations into one and regard it as feeling, we get confused. So I ended the last quote with I ended the last quote with because the first quote was so seeing the truth as it is, that means seeing without seeing without prejudices and biases, right? And then we have this quote. What does it say? When we bundle feelings, perceptions, and mental formations, I'll explain that in a second, but when we bundle feelings, perceptions, and mental formations, we are seeing through our biases and prejudices. So how do we not see through our biases and prejudices? We have to uncouple the feelings, the perceptions, the mental formations. And Dharmadam, this is the clinging. Clinging is this is how we cling. That's dependent origination. Anyway. Anyway, so right, we bundle feelings, perceptions, and mental formations. So we talked about, you know, the greed and hatred spiral we can get in when we're thinking about our appearance, right? We really want to look good, and we're talking about it, and we have all these dreams, and then it delves into resentment spiral. So when it goes into the resentment spiral, and we're just thinking, I don't like the way I look, I wish this part was different, we get trapped into that dialogue. But so notice we're talking about feelings, perceptions, and mental formations. So the feeling is, you know, when you look at yourself, and it's just that feeling of dissatisfaction and sadness that pops up, right? So that there's the feeling, that's one component. Then there's the perception, which is just the label for the feeling. You know, we have that feeling, and then we label it. I don't like the way I look. There you go. That's the perception. And then we have the mental formations, which is just the internal dialogue about the whole situation. We just start talking, and we get trapped in the dialogue of self-hate, and I don't know, you get sticky. I mean, I'm sure you've been there, where it's just like you cannot stop, and you're just stabbing yourself with, I don't know, just being mean to yourself over and over again, and you cannot get out of it because the feeling is so strong and the perception is so strong, and you're just in this feedback loop of, I cannot stop thinking about this. But we might not even recognize as of, I can't stop thinking about this. It's just I just feel so terrible about myself. So feeling, that's the feeling. Feel so terrible about myself. That's the perception of the feeling. There's a feeling tone in and of itself, and then we label it. We label that feeling, I don't like the way I look, and then we just constantly keep talking and talking and talking. And then there's other examples, like maybe you're at work or school or whatever, and there's just that person that kind of rubs you the wrong way, and you just have this intense feeling of dislike for them right when they walk in the room, and then yeah, then you go into a verbal vomit dialogue of just how much you dislike them and how much you would love to see them make a fool of themselves or something like that, right? So we have to separate the components. There's this feeling of dislike, and then we just add on the intense verbal dialogue, the never-ending verbal dialogue. Yeah, so it's tricky to separate because feelings and mental formations that are just happening, or feelings and internal dialogue, they're so coupled. They're happening right on top of each other that we, like the quote says, we bundle them. We bundle, and the perception is there too, because that's just the label of the feeling. We can really just break it. I like breaking it down into two, for just understanding purposes, like the feeling, there's an intense feeling, and then we just have just verbally, mentally vomiting in our minds, just incessantly. We cannot stop. And we bundle them together. We take them to be one intense feeling. And now I have to gripe and talk about this, right? So I'm watching the news and look at what the other side did. Can you believe this? And then I'm immediately in my mind, it immediately comes up. Oh my gosh, I so agree. I have all these things to say in my head about it. And then it's been like an hour. It's been like an hour, and we've ranted this entire time. You know, you can really get sticky, and that's what makes us confused. We're bundling the intense feeling with the reactive, compulsive verbal dialogue, but they're separate. They're separate. These three phenomena of feeling, perception, and internal dialogue, or feelings and internal dialogue, they are separate things. They're individual. They're their own phenomena, right? So what we can do is separate them. We can separate them with our concentration. And again, so this is that same investigation when you're resenting your finances because you can't go out to eat as much as you would like. And you're like, oh man, I'm out in that internal dialogue. You can use your concentration to feel inside, and you really listen inside to what is my current present experience right now. What is the felt sense? What is this experience? What is the experience of the feeling in and of itself? And maybe it's like sadness. You can have the perception of it for a moment. Feels like sadness, or feels like frustration, and then you can even drop that perception. So you can drop the internal dialogue and just like, what is the feeling? What is my perception of the feeling? Feels like sadness, feels like irritation. And then take off the perception, and just in and of itself, what is the feeling? And that is the practice. We're separating the three. We separate the three that we're bundling together. And because when we bundle them together, we get stuck. We become compulsive. We compulsively react, and we compulsively think ourselves into a thought spiral for a full hour for no reason. We don't need to do it. We don't have to do that. You have to go back to the feeling in and of itself. Yeah, so you feel inside. Feel inside. What is this emotion? What does it feel like? So we talked about wanting to go out to eat. But yeah, you could do like physical appearance. I mean, I just feel like I'm going to keep coming back to that one today, because I just feel like that is such a big one where we would really like to, there's always something that we would like to change about ourselves. It's like universal human experience, I think. Right? So, but when you look into the mirror and you look at yourself, and like that feeling of, a feeling comes up, and then you label it with a perception of I hate the way I look, and then you're in the verbal dialogue. I wish I could change this about my stomach, and this about, it's always front body stuff, just obsessive over that, and it's just compulsive. But then you just take a step back. What if I remove the dialogue? Then there's just, and then I focus on the feeling. Oh, I feel this feeling. It's just the sadness and sadness and I don't like the way I look. So there's this sadness in the perception. And then, so you just use your concentration to just really deeply feel the feeling as it is. And this is, so the first quote, going back to the first quote for a second, it said something like, we're trying to see the truth as it is, right? So seeing the truth as it is, seeing reality as it is, it's not that, it's seeing these feelings, perceptions, and mental formations as separate. They're their own things, right? So it's a practice of letting your perceptions and feelings be. You're just allowing them to stay. And this is really freeing because, like, yeah, what is this? What is the benefit of this? Well, it's kind of interesting. So you're looking at yourself in the mirror and you feel the sadness. You do this investigation and you're being with the feeling in and of itself. When you really concentrate on present moment sensation, the feeling of sadness, when you let that, you just feeling that as it is, it's hard to stay concentrated. So if you try it, you should try this. You'll notice that as you're trying to maintain this concentration, you'll probably fall into another thought about something completely random, completely different, and you'll completely forget what you were even upset about for a moment, and then it'll come all rushing back in. But it's interesting, it just passes by. It's very impermanent. And when we and it's a relief, that is a huge relief, because the alternative is we're not conscious of this stuff and we just go into hour-long thought spiral of pain and discomfort. Like, those are kind of the options, painful feeling, look at myself in the mirror, and then I'm driving to wherever and I've been thinking about how terrible I look the entire time, and now I'm walking into work and now I'm extra self-conscious of my belly and whatever, and I feel like everyone's looking at me. I'm just hyper conscious of it. Has everyone always stared at me like this? They totally can tell that I've been gaining weight, and like it's so solution. Here we are. We're at the solution. It interrupts the pattern. It's a pattern interruption. Pattern interrupter. Separate them. Separate the feeling. Separate the. Well, first cut off the internal dialogue. I'm spitting out about this. Concentrate on the feeling. What is the feeling? The feeling is, label it. I don't like my body. That's the perception. Now cut off the perception. What is the feeling in and of itself? Let that be your focus of concentration. And then you can watch it pass by. And that is seeing reality as it is. Seeing reality as it is, as in you have agency. That's the reality as it is. And the reality as it is that these aren't bundled. These feelings and thoughts are not compulsively permanently tied together. I don't know what the right word is. They're not glued together. They are separate. We just take them to be together because it's so immediate. As soon as you look in the mirror, you see yourself, the feeling, perception, and then I'm off to the races in this hurtful thought spiral. So that's what the practice is. Separating them. Really cool. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm really excited about this stream. I feel like it's going pretty decent. I'm happy with it. Anyway, if you're enjoying it, as much as I am, consider joining the Discord. Follow on Twitch, but yeah, follow on Twitch and then check out the Discord. What am I thinking? It's a magical mystical book tour. It's not a book club. Magical mystical book tour, meaning we're going over a book. It's Mindfulness in Plain English by Bhante Gunaratana. But you don't have to read it. You know, if you're enjoying this, join the Discord. I will let you know when we're going live. We take it one chapter at a time. This is chapter, I don't know what chapter this is. I think it's 5. This is chapter 5. This is chapter 5. You don't have to have read it. Just come in, hang out. But if you do decide to read it, you can participate on the Discord and, you know, share your insights. Yeah, it's always fun to read a new book and realize something about yourself or realize something about your spiritual practice, something you didn't realize before. Yeah, in this last chapter, he was talking about when you sit down to meditate, don't move. I really like that. I really like that whole idea. Don't move. Because, yeah, his point was, well, don't move as in, like, don't fidget. Obviously, you're not moving, but, like, really don't move. Like, plant your seat and don't adjust. And, I don't know, that I like that idea a lot because, it makes you really concentrate because, like, it becomes unpleasant, but that becomes an anchor for concentration, the sensation of unpleasantness, just really getting into the moment. But as soon as you like fidget and move around, it messes with the concentration. So that made a lot of sense to me. I'd never like thought of it like that or really made it a point to try to not move. But I like it. I think it's cool. So there's just stuff like that. You know, that's something I need to write on the Discord for chapter 5. But yeah, so it's a cool little place where we are looking into improving, refining our practice. Cool. So, moving on. This is Mindfulness in Plain English. We're going to the third quote. I'm going to update the title. Why? Because I'm trying to get people in here. Third title. Truck is already dinged. The truck is already dinged. What will we talk about? But yeah, drop a follow. Also, we're doing we're also doing a subscriber thing, $10 donation to WaterAid at 8 sub points. So, if you're liking the stream, drop a follow, drop a sub. Doing cool stuff here. Let's see. So next quote. Mindfulness in Plain English, Bhante Gunaratana. We want to gain insight into the experience of impermanence to We want to gain insight into the experience of impermanence to overcome unhappiness and ignorance. Our deeper knowledge of unhappiness overcomes the greed that causes our unhappiness, and our realization of selflessness overcomes the ignorance that arises from the notion of self. So I wanted to bring this quote in because that's definitely a mouthful. So let's break it down. So it's a two-parter. We want to gain insight into the experience of impermanence to overcome unhappiness. Okay, and our unhappiness. So our unhappiness overcomes the greed. Our knowledge of unhappiness overcomes the greed that causes our unhappiness. So that's basically saying greed causes unhappiness. and recognizing impermanence helps us to overcome greed. The first part, greed overcomes unhappiness, and then second part, recognizing impermanence helps us to overcome greed. Why? Because impermanence. Let me start playing my game again. It's a cool game called Townscaper. Look at the city we built, by the way. Check it out. This is what we've done so far. If you're just joining, this is what you've missed. I'll zoom in so you can get the full effect. Okay. How do I move down? Gotta go like this. Really? Oh, wow. There we go. Learning the keys. I'm learning the keys. There we go. Anyway. Recognizing... what's the quote? Okay, so greed causes unhappiness, and then recognizing impermanence helps us to overcome greed. Why? And it's because recognizing impermanence gives our desires a more holistic view, right? So that's kind of the theme of what we're talking about today. Greed devolving down into hatred. We don't want to go down the hatred spiral. And we're going down the hatred spiral because we want things. We get a little bit too cravey with our wants. Right? So how do we not get so cravey? We recognize impermanence. Right? So, fun story. I thought of a fun story for this one. My neighbor got a super cool truck recently. Brand new. I don't know what kind. I'm not a huge car person or truck person, but it was brand new for sure. It was all black. Rims are black. Shiny. Super shiny, obviously, because it's new. Like, you know, the headlights aren't even foggy at all. And the windows are tinted black. So it's I don't know. It was a sweet truck. It's a sweet truck, and I know I feel like some people are kind of like truck people, but I wouldn't call myself a truck person, but I like this truck. Anyway, yeah, super shiny black windows, black tinted windows. The whole truck is like the shiny mirror, right? And so you think about before he buys the truck, you know, how excited he's gonna be. He's had his old truck for a while, and like, oh, I want this new truck, and he's been thinking about it. Potentially, I don't know his life, but thinking about it and how great it's gonna be, and he finally pulls the trigger, and you know, so you have that desire, right? We talked about the craving. So he's craving the truck, and then he gets it. And that's the feeding. So he's feeding that desire, and that desire's satisfied. Because it is satisfying. It's like, man, look at this thing. It's so great, right? But so he has it, and it's like a mirror, right? The whole truck's like a mirror, and it's so funny. So it was maybe winter when he bought it. So spring starts rolling around. And the birds are, I don't know, finches, whatever the bird is that like makes their nests in, you know, around homes. One of these male birds just loved his reflection. It was so funny to see it. But anyway, so he's this bird that loves his reflection, starts really he finds his reflection in this guy's new truck, because this whole truck, it's black and black tint. So this bird is flying all around his truck, just like landing on the truck and just staring at itself in the mirrors all over the truck, and it's pooping all over the truck. Not all over it, but he really liked the driver's side. And there was just regularly bird poop on the truck, and I'd see him like walk out of the house sometimes, and like because the bird was there all the time. Like he wasn't walking out to like shoo the bird away or anything, but every time he'd walk out, like, odds are the bird was going to be there because that bird was just obsessed with his truck, with its reflection. And like, that's just like, that is the impermanence. Like the truck isn't always going to be shiny, you know? And since it's impermanent, it's going to require maintenance. And when we're craving whatever we're craving, we don't consider the impermanence. But it's nice to consider the impermanence, because the impermanence is just this, you know, this hidden contract of, I will give you satisfaction for a moment, or many moments, whatever. I'll give you satisfaction, but you have to maintain me, and it's not free, right? And we crave things, and we just set such high expectations for the stuff that we want, like that it's just going to be so satisfying. Like, we make it out to be way more satisfying than it's actually going to be. And that's kind of like this trap we get ourselves into, and then we get it, and then it's like, oh, I really wanted this, and like, this isn't it. Maybe it's something else, and we'll move on to something else we want. And we're just trying to satisfy something. So yeah, it's good to just look at, like, to curb your cravings. It's good to remember, like, I want this thing, but it's gonna take some work, and it's not gonna be ultimately satisfying. And that's not like to say, like, because it kind of sounds a little nihilistic, like, why do I get anything? But we do want stuff, you know? We want stuff. I mean, stuff is great. I love buying stuff. Here's a recommendation. Buy stuff that makes you more productive. It's so fun to buy those things. Looking for things to buy. Because it's so fun getting a new thing. And, but yeah, stuff that makes you more productive, like a new vacuum, or a better mop, or we replaced an air fryer. We had a big air fryer, and then we combined it into a toaster oven. Like, we take like two different. Let me think. I have an example. Let's see. Yeah, well, air fryer. We had an air fryer and a microwave. And we combined it into just like this epic toaster oven. So we got rid of two things and got one thing. So it's just like, it's so fun to buy things and like become more efficient. So fun becoming more efficient. Anyway, my point is, we want stuff. Got sidetracked. That's a good tip, by the way. Buy stuff that makes you more efficient. It's very satisfying. But yeah, we want these things. And but yeah, so you consider, like, oh, it's not going to be ultimately satisfying. It's going to take work to maintain it. It's going to be a headache. Like the toaster oven, it gets filled up with grease, right? But it's not to be like nihilistic, like, why want anything? It's more just to it's to curb greed, and it's to just give yourself a more holistic view of, like, it's just the truth. Like, it's just the truth. It's like, there will be a maintenance, and it's not ultimately going to be satisfying, and it's gonna cause whatever we're gonna get. Probably the more satisfying it gets, the more satisfying it is, the bigger the contract. Like, do you want to get into a fender bender with someone driving a 10-year-old Buick, or someone driving a Mercedes? I mean, it's like you don't want to ding the Mercedes, because that's it's satisfying to see your car in pristine condition when it's super fancy, right? So, but it's just like, But you have to, like, that's the whole thing. Like, when you do buy the nice new car, here comes the title. The truck is already dinged. That's actually like a, I don't know. It's probably not a koan. I don't know what it is. I know it's a quote from somewhere. I think it's like the teacup is already broken. But just saying, like, you know, that brand new truck is going to get dinged. It's impermanent. So there's no reason to get yourself all worked up in this craving. It's a counter to the craving. And when you can counter the craving, when you can counter the greed, you're effectively countering the resentment spiral that it's going to get you into. Right? Because as soon as you hit that Mercedes, right? Like, he resents you. I mean, basically, he just resents you. So, but you don't want to be the Mercedes driver in that situation. Like, you don't want to resent people. Like, we're all human. We're all doing our best, right? So, we don't want to hate, right? And maybe, you know, with this practice, you're not, because why are you getting into that resentment spiral? It's because you're clinging so heavily to this pristine state of your car when it's impermanent. So yeah, if you just have the holistic view of the truck is already dinged, when you get that first ding, it's like, oh, okay, well, feeling arising, don't like it, but you know, I have perspective. I have this holistic view where I don't have to, or because I don't crave it to be in its pristine condition, I know it's impermanent. I'm not going to fall into such a deep hole of resentment where I'm like thinking about it all day, all week about that idiot, that why would they drive like that and look at my truck? Like, how could you do that? Why? How is this happening to me? And then it's just endless, right? No, the truck is already dinged as soon as you buy it. That's the right. It's impermanent. So it's just it's a curb. We're greedy to keep it perfect. And if we're falling into greed and hate go together. If you can curb your greed by considering its impermanence, you can curb the resentment spiral that you would inevitably fall into. Right? So it's just like so before we have it, it benefits us both ways. Like, before we have it, like, let's just say we're like struggling with money. Like, who knows how long this guy's been saving to save up for this truck. This is a nice truck. Trucks are expensive. And maybe along that way, you know, it's just he wants the new truck. My truck is old. This dang truck. I really want a new truck. So you're just stuck in that greed, hatred spiral of, I don't have enough money. Right? I want this new truck. I don't have enough money. I want this new truck. Why does my job suck? Right? Greed, hatred spiral. And then we can use impermanence to counteract the greed. And then when we do have it, we don't have to cling to its pristine state. Right? The truck is already dinged. Truck will get dinged. Just a holistic view. And that way, when it does get dinged, we don't have to go down another spiral. So it's just with a holistic view of just the reality. It's the reality of the situation. With a holistic view of the reality of the situation, you're just going to save yourself so much unnecessary suffering. And that's like the whole point of this practice. Like, the suffering that we cause ourselves so much unnecessary suffering. Let's not do that. That's what we're trying to do. That's the spiritual practice. Why am I causing myself headaches when I don't need to? How am I causing myself headaches? And how do I stop? Yep. Impermanence. Impermanence is a great way to stop. Keep considering it. And yeah, so we were talking about separating feelings from. Ooh, let me fix my window a little bit. Check out our city. Look at that. It's oh man. I don't know my geography. Someone in the chat help me. What is the city in Italy or France? I don't know. What is the city that's on the water? Hit me up in the chat. Also, follow, subscribe. At 8 subs, we're getting close. We're going to do a $10 donation to WaterAid. So if you like this content, follow, then subscribe, and then join the Discord so you know when I'm going live next. I don't have a set schedule. I'm trying to do definitely once per week. I'd like to do more. But yeah, join the Discord. Anyway, I'm not done yet. Because we were talking about impermanence. Feelings are also impermanent. That's so helpful to know. Because, right. The bird is... Well, let me think. Amsterdam? I don't think it's Amsterdam. It's like the city on the... It's the city on the water. City on the water. I don't... Like, it's like where they do the gondola rides, I think. Venice. There it is. Hooray, Blanchini. We got Venice. So look at it's my Venice. Isn't that nice? Why aren't there boats carving through the city? Disappointing. Needs to put it on the update. Put it on the update of people on gondolas going through the cities. That would be nice. Anyway, talking about impermanence. Shavaya, what's going on? How are you? We're going over this third quote in Mindfulness in Plain English, and we're talking about impermanence. And we're talking about feelings also being impermanent. So in the last quote, we mentioned we need to unbundle our feelings from our verbal dialogue, a mental dialogue, verbal dialogue, mental dialogue, right? So we keep going over, like, maybe you look at yourself in the mirror and you're just like, oh, I really don't like the way that I look, and we can just go into this thought spiral about it, right? So we're talking about impermanence helps us overcome unhappiness. In this quote, where is it? Yeah, impermanence helps us overcome unhappiness because it's greed, right? So when you're, as we mentioned before, I won't get into it again, but when you uncouple, I'm hot as well. Do I look hot? Because it is toasty in here. Could you tell? Am I sweating? Maybe a little bit. Is that what you meant? I should change colors. Anyway, impermanence helps us to overcome unhappiness. So anyway, you're feeling those negative feelings, right? You're feeling that negative irritation, sadness. And if you just sit with the feeling, you'll notice how the feeling passes. The feeling's gonna pass. If you use your concentration and just focus on the feeling in and of itself, you uncouple the verbal dialogue from the feeling in and of itself, you will notice in your effort to concentrate that your brain will probably think about something completely different. And then you'll just be in this kind of, you'll get lost in another thought and you'll completely forget what you were upset about very lightly. You'll completely forget very lightly, because as soon as you come back to and you're like, oh, what? Oh, shoot, I'm mad about this. It's so hot in here, I need to go swim soon. Heck yeah, dude. I love the public pool. I'm a visitor of the public pool. I also live close to the ocean. I love swimming in the ocean. I'm in SoCal. Ocean temperature here. Pretty great right now. I heard I didn't go swimming in it all winter because I have a new baby. So we didn't go to the beach very often. But I heard it was warm all winter. So that's pretty cool. Anyway, so you have the feeling. Feelings are impermanent. And like, so that's just, we talked about this. It's a way to overcome an unhappiness is to notice, wow, I don't have to get locked into this feeling verbal dialogue feedback loop. I can just be with a feeling as it is, and I'll forget about what I was thinking about, and then I'll remember it, but then I just go back to the feeling. It's just a pattern interrupter. It's such a great way to interrupt the pain spiral that we get into. Ooh, you have a lake. Very nice. Lakes can be cold though, for sure. Or do they get warm? I don't know. I don't know much about lakes. I did grow up near a lake, but I don't know how their temperatures are. I was young, so I haven't really gotten in a lake in a long time. So, and that kind of leads us into the second part of this quote, right? We want to gain, so here's the quote. We want to gain insight into the experience of impermanence to overcome ignorance now, right? Our realization of selflessness overcomes the ignorance that arises from the notion of the self. So we split this up into two quotes. So we're going over the second one. What is this saying? It's saying like recognizing impermanence helps us overcome ignorance. The ignorance that arises from the notion of a self. So what is that saying? We've kind of talked about this. We bundle feelings, perceptions, and verbal dialogue together. And what this is saying now, right? Because we've talked about this. When you look at yourself in the mirror, we just talked about this. You see yourself, there's an uncomfortable feeling. We label that feeling, that's the perception. I don't like the way I look. And then we can go on for 6 hours about how we don't like the way I look, right? Those are the three we are bundling together. This adds on to that, saying that we take those three factors, those three phenomena, and we label it I, right? Because that's what we're doing in our head. I hate the way I look. I wish I looked this way. What do I need to do? It's I. What do I need to do to make myself have this appearance? I've been trying all these things, and nothing I do is working, right? It's I. It's identification. And what are we identifying with? We're identifying with phenomena that is impermanent, and that taken separately are not you. They're not you. Yeah, that you can clearly see that they're not you when you look at them separately, right? Because you look at the internal dialogue in itself. Like, are you your internal dialogue? No. I mean, you have agency over it, but like your internal dialogue is changing. And then you have the feeling and the perception, and we'll talk about the feeling. Like the feeling is just changing. The feelings and the perceptions are just changing. And since they're changing, there's no reason to consider, like, there's no reason to consider them being you. What does that mean? It's just it's just a way to like gain agency over your thinking, right? Because when we bundle them together and we call it me and I, not only are we stuck in this vicious spiral of constantly thinking, like we get stuck in the I have this feeling and I have this internal dialogue, and it's that negative feedback loop where we just keep feeding the uncomfortable sensation, um, and just solidifying that perception of ourselves of like, I don't like the way I look. It's solidifying the whole perception, right? Instead of doing, on top of that, because we're taking these feelings and this internal dialogue as me, it becomes extremely personal, right? Because it's happening to me, right? But it's a perspective strategy, right? Because you can look at it as the feeling in and of itself, and you can look at the verbal dialogue in and of itself, and the perception in and of itself, and you can separate them, right? And when you take them to be me, you're just in the middle of it. You're stuck, right? And you're just in this pain spiral. But instead of taking that to be me, lumping it all together and be like, I am upset about the way I look, you can isolate them, which is what we've talked about. You can isolate the feeling in and of itself. And you can interrupt the internal dialogue, and you can separate the perception from the feeling, and they become phenomena. They're phenomena in and of themselves. And that, so the quote, we're recognizing impermanence to help us arise from the ignorance that arises from the notion of a self. So the ignorance being that we don't want to get stuck in 5 hours of hating ourselves. And when we take them as separate, we don't have to. When we isolate them, we can see them changing. Like, because when you don't isolate them, when you're stuck in the I, it is a feedback loop. You have that negative feeling, and you keep talking about it, and it makes the negative feeling worse, which makes you want to talk about it more. So it just keeps cycling. But when you isolate, and we take that to be me, and that's the mistake. We need to separate each three and see them for what they are, which is just phenomena in and of themselves. Because when you separate them and you focus just on the feeling in and of itself, then you can concentrate on the feeling. What is the feeling in and of itself? Override the dialogue. It's impermanent and it changes. Recognizing the impermanence helps us overcome that idea that we're just stuck in this unhappy self, when it's not. It's phenomena. So the whole idea, that this is the idea, this is the philosophy. We take the bundle of feeling, the perception, and the verbal dialogue to be me. So what was one of our examples? Our examples was what was one of our examples? Money. Money was an example. We have this feeling of like we can get into this greedy spiral, like, oh, I would love to have all these things, that would be so cool, but then greed and hatred go together, and then we go into resenting, like my job sucks, why am I so dumb, why can't I get a better paying job, it's because I'm so dumb, right? So that negative hate loop, right? It's really easy to clue into those because they're super sticky, and then we get stuck in them for a while. We can separate it, and it's like, oh, there's just this feeling. What is this feeling? Well, first you cut off the dialogue, and then you tune into the feeling in and of itself, and then you say, what is this feeling? You give it a perception. It's this feeling is like disgust for myself and my inability to be a competent member of society, and then you isolate that again, and what is the feeling in and of itself, and you sit with the feeling. So right? So you have feeling, perception, verbal dialogue, and we take that to be me. This quote is saying, that's ignorance. It's not you. Separate them. When you separate them, it helps you overcome the unhappiness, right? You override that dialogue, the feelings change. You don't have to be, when you get stuck, you don't have to be stuck. It makes you so unhappy. You don't have to be stuck. And what a relief to know that you don't have to be stuck. It's definitely been a relief for me. Because you don't realize it. You don't realize that, like, oh, bad feeling, then I'm stuck in verbal dialogue. You have agency. You don't have to stay stuck. What is the process for getting out of it? You isolate it. Isolate the feeling from the perception, from the verbal dialogue. You can even think about you override. You can override the internal dialogue and being with the feeling in and of itself, or you can override the internal dialogue in a way of just think about something else. That was actually like one of it's in the Pali Canon somewhere. Buddha talks about like the best way to like get out of a crazy negative thought spiral. Just think about something else. Like maybe you're like in a worry spiral, right? Like you're paranoid about this thing that's gonna happen, and all these things that can go wrong, right? And it's stemming up from like all this feeling of worry and the perception. So you have this bundle together, and then you can be like, oh, look at that, I'm stuck in this sticky spiral. I can either be with the feeling in and of itself, or just hijack the internal dialogue and think about something else. Something that I really like doing is like I notice that when I worry about something, I am worrying about the worst possible situation. Like it's possible, which makes it so like sticky. Like this could happen, and then that could happen. Like this is real. Like it could really go in this direction. But you can just flip it. Like what is the most realistic good outcome that could happen? Right? And that just that's so relieving to think in that way. Like, oh, well, like it's true that this not bad thing could happen, which would just mitigate the whole thing that I'm worrying about. And that's like a definite possibility. I'm not like trying to be positive or anything. Like this is a real possibility that would just mitigate all of my worries. And here's another possibility that would mitigate all of my worries. And that would just, I mean, that's just a really great way out of the feeling spiral too. Yeah, so it just gives you agency. Separate feeling from the perception, from the internal dialogue. See them all as separate. Notice how when you see them all, when they all get jumbled together, you're in the middle of it and you're just stuck in this I situation and it's hard to get out. But when you are stuck, separate the three and notice how, like this is that whole quote that you probably have heard a million times, that identity passes like a cloud. That identity passes like a cloud. The identity being the feeling, the perception, and the mental dialogue. That is an identity. That's what we take to be me. And when you separate them, that identity, that ego self passes like a cloud, and all of a sudden you're in a less stressful, less greedy, less hateful identity. And then you just see how these identities are super impermanent. You're like, oh, what the heck is identity? So there you go. It's all about agency. Don't need to get trapped. Impermanence, Shivaya. Impermanence sounds like recognition of death. Impermanence sounds like recognition of death. I mean, that is a fun thing to meditate on for sure. Let me think about when do I do that and why do I do that? Definitely like to think about dying sometimes. I read a really great article in I was subscribed to Tricycle for a bit. I think I'm ending this subscription just because of this what am I doing? Twitch stream. focusing on this stuff. But anyway, it was such a great article written by an older person, you know, getting close to death and just talking about what the experience is like. And just, you know, like, I don't think they used the word ego death, but it just gave me like perspective of ego death. Like, it's just like, you know, spiritual circles. It's like, oh, ego death. It's like this amazing thing. But it's like ego, like ego death. Ego is like all the things that we like, right? And then ego death, it's like, I'm never going to be able to experience that again. And what a wild thing to think about, you know, like just something that you really like, you know. I'm sure if you're an athlete, you think about it, but it's just like, I'm never gonna get to do it again. And that's like that's like the meditation on death. It's just like, I'm never gonna be able to do it again. Like, what a weird, sad thing, you know. It's just, there's just a sadness there. So I think that's like kind of what it clues you in on, like, also what this practice is about in some sense, that, you know, like, you know, you get deeper into it and it's like, it's the ending of craving. That's a more, I shouldn't say that, because it's more like we end craving because we see the stress that it causes us, like in this, like what we've been talking about today, like craving causes greed, and greed just spirals into hatred and resentment for ourselves and others. So we notice that spiral, but I mean, like, yeah, just things you really enjoy, things that like kind of like give your life meaning. Like in death, it's just like that ego, because it, like, your ego, I mean, it's like you have 1,000 egos. Everything you like is like an ego self. Because we talked about what the self is, what we take the self to be. It's a feeling, it's a perception, and it's a verbal dialogue. So it's like this feeling about, what activity do I like? I don't know, looking out at the ocean, I guess. It has a great feeling. The perception is I like it, and I can talk about how great it is. And when I'm in the ocean, oh, this is great, whatever. So there's a part of me that likes the ocean. That's an ego self. And then, you know, like the death idea is like, what if I never got to see the ocean again? You know, and like, it's like, that's like the dying, you know. It's the things that we want, we don't get to have anymore. And it's like, I don't know, I loved that article. I mean, he really helped me feel what it's like to like get older, and just like just kind of the underlying sadness that is there, to just lose access to these things that have made you very happy, and things that we feel like we need. And but this practice is all about it's because everything is impermanent, right? Our whole experience is impermanent, and this practice is about finding a happiness that's beyond the conditional, beyond things that are impermanent. I mean, that was like the whole, like, that's like the Buddha thing. Like, everything I look like, I can't. I'm not gonna quote it at all, but like, you know, everything I see is impermanent. So I reject it as a source of happiness. And he looked for the true happiness, and he found it beyond craving. Like, there's this happiness that is which is it's an unconditioned happiness, because like your ego is it's trying to create and maintain conditions, so it satisfies what it wants. Like I like the ocean, so I need to be near the ocean. I need to go see the ocean. But he was looking for an unconditioned happiness, meaning it needs nothing. It needs nothing. And it's a dimension of the mind, which is fancy language for just saying it's the space between the thoughts. It's the space between the identities. We talked about identity. What is the identity? The feeling, the perception, and the internal dialogue, right? And we switch from identity to identity. Oh, I like this food, right? There's a feeling of satisfaction, and then it's on to the next thing. I want to watch this TV show. I'm watching the TV show, right? Going back and going from identity to identity, and but what's in between all that? What's in between all of that is an unconditioned place that doesn't need anything to be different. It's awareness in itself. Awareness in itself, and I don't know. He calls it the ultimate happiness. We practice it. We practice being there and developing a taste for it all the time in meditation. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I guess that's what I think about when I think about death. Is impermanence. Yeah, exactly. It makes me feel what's most important to me. That does feel nice. Absolutely, that is so true too. Like, and what is like most important? It's like, I don't know. Our loved ones, right? Family, community, relationship. I don't know. That's what I think anyway. I mean, everything else is so fickle and finicky. Yeah. So that, I think, brings us to the end of that quote. I liked that one just because it feels like such a mouthful, but anyway, this is the Magical Mystical book tour. Well, for most important, it's the space you were talking about. I mean, it's definitely it's a crazy concept for sure. I mean, like I practice it. I practice it because it's like so practical. Space Shuttle 40. Hey, what the heck is Bonti? What is it? Mindful. So Space Shuttle. It is Mindfulness in Plain English. It is the book we're reading. This is the cover. Mindfulness in Plain English. Join the Discord. Anyway, I'll get to the pitch in a second. Space. Yeah, it's an interesting Shavaya. It's interesting. This concept that that is the ultimate happiness. I mean, it's encouraging to hear that. But the path there, is so practical, because that's what we've been talking about this whole time. It's not getting stuck in ignorance, thinking that feelings, perceptions, and verbal dialogue are all mashed together and they can't be separated, and that you have no agency over it. That when you get stuck into this verbal dialogue, that there's no way to interrupt the process. Like this process of trusting into that space of awareness and recognizing it as the ultimate happiness, is a lot. But the fact that the path there is so practical and so meaningful, it's just like, well, cool, if you say so. Yeah, but I like the practice in itself is just like, it's true. It's just so true. It's so practical. And then, hey, we'll see. We'll see how it goes to what is that space behind the craving. It all makes sense. Yeah, we'll see. Anyway, so this is Magical Mystical Book Tour. We're reading Mindfulness in Space Shuttle. We're reading Mindfulness in Plain English by Bhante Gunaratana. It's a Magical Mystical Book Tour, name pending. We'll see if we keep the name. It's a tour because you don't have to read the book. I bring the quotes in to the stream. Follow if you're enjoying the stream. Subscribe. We're doing a $10 donation to Water Aid at 8 sub points. So that's exciting. But yeah, join the Discord. If you do decide to read the book, you can keep up with the Discord. You don't have to read the book at all because, like, yeah, you can just check out the Discord. I'm leaving what I would like for the Discord to be, and what I'm doing is just kind of leaving insights that I get about the text in and of itself. But you can do whatever you want. I separate each section by chapters, so you can read other people's insights, my insights, share your own insights. It's just a place to, clarify the practice, clarify what spiritual practice actually is. How do we make progress? Where is the practical practice? That's what we're going for in the Discord and this Twitch stream. This is more for, your enjoyment. And I try and take, like, if you look at this quote, it's kind of a mouthful. So I just try and break it down into, like, what I feel like he's trying to say. And making it all, trickier parts make sense. I don't know. It's fun. If you enjoy it, hit the follow button, subscribe, help in the donation to Water Aid. Thought it was a cool idea. Be cool. Oh shoot, why did I get all blurry? There we go. That was weird. Webcam got focused on the wrong thing or something. And we're also playing Town Scraper. Look at the town we built so far. It's my mini Vienna. Town Scraper is the Vienna builder. How cool is that? Look at this. Look at the detail. Oh, Venice. Thank you, Plancini, not Vienna. See, I don't know my geography. Or, yeah, I guess that's what it is called. It looks good. It's a cool game. Anyway, we should move on to the next quote. I'll change the quote. Quote's coming in. Mindfulness of plain English. Oh, it's not a quote. We're talking about how to meditate. We're talking about how to meditate because in chapter 5 of what we're chapter 5 of this book was called get the chapter 5 is called The Practice. So let me, oh shoot, what'd I do? Pause. I gotta update the title. I'm updating the title so I can trap people into my stream. The title is called Stop Trying to Clear Your Mind. That seems kind of inviting, doesn't it? I think so. We'll talk about what that means. Stop trying to clear. And we're talking about how to meditate. Yeah, Bonte has his own interpretation. I thought I'd leave my interpretation, put my interpretation down for you guys. It's basically all the same, but just like little tweaks, how to think about it different, how I think about it specifically to myself. I like the way I think about it, so I thought maybe it would be helpful. Anyway, he started with a goal, and my goal in my meditation in Theravada wait, I'm on the wrong thing. Is Theravada Buddhism? It's Theravada Buddhism? That guy. Yes, it is Theravada. What? Tagore gone? Is he dead already? Where's Tagore gone? I don't know what Tagore is. Not sure what Tagore is. But yeah, I think he's Theravada. I like Theravada a lot. I haven't really looked into Mahayana and Vajrayana too much. My yoga teacher, he's really into Zen and Vajrayana. Yoga, what's his name? And so if you're in the market for a yoga teacher, this guy is fantastic because he combines Buddha Dharma and yoga Dharma. He's just fantastic. He's really into, so I don't know if you're into Vajrayana or Mahayana more, but T.S. Little, Prajna Yoga, he loves great yoga teacher, and he's like Zen and Vajrayana. Tagore is a Buddhist teacher and also the first non-European who got a Nobel Prize for Literature. Oh, how cool. Yeah, I don't know anything about him. I've never heard of him before. My main Buddha teacher, who I'm like really kind of just starting with, is Thanissaro Bhikkhu. Starting with as in I've read like 4 of his books. They're pretty short. I really study him. I just love Thanissaro Bhikkhu. He's Theravada. I'll write his name. All of his stuff is free online. So, do you have a favorite book of his? Oh, Plan Genie asking Space Shuttle. That is a great question, Plan Genie. Do you have a favorite book by Tagore? Anyway. Yep. So yeah, Space Shuttle. Check out Thanissaro Bhikkhu too. If you like Theravada. I think he's fantastic. He's very conservative, I guess I would say. Anyway, so let's get into how to meditate. How do you do it? What are you doing when you sit down and you're in silence? Okay, hold on. We gotta pause. I need some water, guys. I have to pause. I will BRB, and we will be back with... I'm gonna use the restroom too. Don't go anywhere. 3 minutes. Okay, I'm back. Space Shuttle says, not really sorry. When you want to learn Buddhism, nothing goes over Milarepa. Tagore is a bit question worthy. He's so too famous. I don't know. Is Milarepa another teacher too? Sounds like a teacher. Can't tell. But yeah, I should write those down. Let me know if Milarepa is a teacher. Other books that I have liked. What? I think she's Vajrayana Pima Chodron. I mean, she's like, I'm sure you've heard of her. I don't know. I really liked Nisro Bhikkhu, and you need Milarepa friend. I couldn't forgive that you never heard of Tagore, but not Milarepa, man. Well, I will say, my main practice has been through Prajna Yoga. T.S. Little being my main teacher. Yeah, I don't know. So, Milarepa is the biggest yogi and poet Tibet ever had. Oh, that's cool. That's really neat. Yeah, I'll have to look into these people. There's so many books to read, it's crazy. But anyway, let's get into how to meditate. So, first thing he started off with was distinguishing mind from mind activity. The first thing he started off with was a goal. Set a goal. And my goal, I guess, for my meditations is distinguish mind essence from mind activity. That's the goal. And what does that mean? It's just like seeing the space between your thoughts. Seeing the internal dialogue is for what it is, and awareness. Seeing from the perspective of awareness in and of itself. Just that recognition. So that's a goal. Another way to say it is like recognizing presence. Becoming familiar with what it means to be present. What is a present moment sensation? I want stuff explained without any teaching attempts, if that makes sense. I want stuff explained without any teaching attempts, if that makes sense. Well, I will attempt that right now. So here we go. Yep, distinguish mind from mind activity. So you sit down on the cushion, set a timer. Highly recommend setting a timer, because then you don't have to think about how long it's been checking the talk. It's just so much easier to concentrate. So much easier to concentrate with the timer. So always set a timer. And then you take your seat. And like he said, I hadn't heard this tip before, but just like don't move. Moving, it just, so you plant your seat and then you just make that intention, like I'm gonna get comfortable, you know, wiggle around, get your sit bones on the seat, and then as soon as you're comfy, say I'm not gonna move for the rest of the meditation. It'll really help with you here, no matter, like, unless it's unreasonable pain. Unless you're in an unreasonable pain where you think it's like causing harm, but like a little, you know, discomfort is completely fine. You don't have to, it doesn't have to mean anything crazy. I forgot, I need to start playing my game again. When you're interested in Buddhism, don't miss Milarepa, man. Nobody used more beautiful words to describe concepts. No, well, now that you're saying that, Space Shuttle 40, if you haven't joined the Discord, check out the Discord, because like after we're done with mindfulness in plain English, I was gonna, I want to open it up to suggestions. I'm too casual for joining Discord, sorry. Oh, you're chill. But yeah, for anyone else listening, if you have books that you like for Buddhism, or a space shuttle, if you decide that you do want to try Discord, it's going to be a cool community. You can, I'm down for community recommendations. Is Milarepa the one who said, this is my highest teaching, and showed his calluses, lol? Oh, that's cool. Dharma Dom knows what's up. Dharma Dom's in the Discord, by the way, space shuttle, so you know. Cool. Anyway, so you take a comfortable seat, get comfortable, and then make the decision not to move until your timer goes off. It's all right to be in a little discomfort. And then we tune into present moment sensation. What does that mean? So it means grounding at your base, sensing your sit bones on your cushion, What is the sensation of breathing? Um, you can take your mental awareness around your body. What are the sensations like in your feet? You can feel your feet on the floor. What are the sensations like in your diaphragm, in your gut? What is the sensation of your skin? Like skin sensations, like really interesting. It's kind of like this um, reverberation. It's like right underneath the skin. Um, Kind of a vibration, just like bioenergetic hum. So we're tuning into the what is it like to be in the body? What is it like to be? What is it like to? What is the sensation of inhabiting a this living, breathing form? What is the sensation of breathing? Right. So you're taking that in, breathing out. What is the sensation of being alive? And that's your source of concentration, right? The body, because you talk about the mind. The mind can be in the future, can be thinking about the future. The mind can be thinking about the past. The body is always stuck in the present moment. So we use the body as the anchor into present moment. That's the whole point of yoga, by the way. You know, attuning to subtle sensations of present moment, reawakening. Because yeah, like if you don't move too much, your fascia can get glued down, and that inhibits nerve sensations. So we become less sensitive to present moment sensation. So if you struggle to like tap in, like what is it like to what is the sensation of being alive in this body? If that's like a struggle for you to tap into, do some yoga. That's the whole point. That's what it's for. It's yoga means union of mind and body, as in literally just um uh being able to feel it, right? And again, I'll do one more prajna yoga. This is my yoga teacher. So great. Check it out if you're in the market for a yoga teacher. Anyway, sense into present moment sensation. And then you want to settle down. So you're going through your body, you're sensing everything. You want to settle down in one spot, either the diaphragm, between the eyebrows. In mindfulness in plain English, he talked about feeling the breath right at the edges of your nostrils. You could feel the breath in the back of your throat, the cool breath in the back of your throat. You pick a point of concentration. And that's I love the way, it's a Tanisro Bhikkhu quote. I love the way he described it. It's like that's the your flame. That's your candle flame, right? And your focus is the flame. But if the flame is in a dark room, it illuminates the whole room. So like you keep your spot, but then you widen your awareness to your entire body, right? And that's what yoga helps you do. The sensation of being alive in your skin. There's a lot to feel into. I mean, you really think about it. I think the heart pumps like I think it was a gallon or a gallon and a half per minute. I think a gallon a minute or something like that. And you talk too much and say too little. Sorry, buddy. I'm working on it. I want to get better. I agree, though. In a way, I'm working on it, though. I'll get better. Anyway, pumps a gallon a minute, right? And so it's like going through your aorta. So there's like this vibration. There's this vibration inside, right? In the lungs, like air is maneuvering through the trachea and the bronchioles and forking into smaller tubules. There's this whole vibration, right? So there's this sensation of inhabiting the body. So you keep your focus on one spot and you widen your awareness to the whole body. And then next is internal dialogue, right? So what do you do with the whole internal dialogue? internal dialogue is fine. I think there's like it's really confusing to just be like, oh, never have internal dialogue, but this is a practice of concentration rather than it's a practice of concentration rather than removing dialogue in itself, because through the practice of concentration, the dialogue naturally quiets on its own. So yeah, use your internal dialogue. Use your internal dialogue to help you maintain concentration on the present moment. And you can say whatever you need to say to keep your mind preoccupied. You can keep asking yourself questions like, what is the sensation of breathing? Right? That's a great inquiry. What is the sensation of breathing like in my hands, in my feet, in my legs? You could also use like mantras of like, every time you breathe in, you can say breathing in, and every time you breathe out, you can say breathing out. This is all in an attempt to keep your mind on your body and not, on some desire or some random thought pattern. So you can count your breaths. That's another great way. He mentions counting the breaths in the book. There's beauty in the natural way I'm breathing already. Absolutely. That's something my teacher says all the time. Let your breath breathe you. You don't need to change your breath in any way. Sense into what is the experience. And you can use your internal dialogue. You don't have to shut off the internal dialogue. You don't have to obsess over that. You can use your internal dialogue to keep yourself concentrated on present moment sensation. No two breaths are the same. I'm actually going to bring that quote in a second, in the last section. So stay tuned for that. So anyway, so you're using your internal dialogue and you're focusing and you're trying, trying to stay concentrated. Next tip: don't force it. So I feel like you can grip with your internal dialogue to try and stay connected. I don't know, maybe clench your eyes, scrunch your middle brow. So when you get into that kind of sensation, a good way out of it is you can ask the question, how do I make this next breath more gratifying, more refreshing, more easeful? You can just make that an inquiry. So that's internal dialogue again. Like you check in with your nervous system, and if it's too tense, just how can I breathe to feel more at ease, right? So all this to say, don't stress. I should play this game. Don't stress the internal dialogue. Stress what we're focusing on is maintaining the concentration. So effects of concentration. Yeah. So, when it comes to internal dialogue, I feel like the internal dialogue, quieting internal dialogue, I feel like is more of an effect of concentration, right? Because you're using your dialogue to stay focused on present moment sensation, and as you develop your concentration and tune more and more deeply into like an alertness, into feeling in and of itself, the internal dialogue will go quiet on its own. So don't stress it. It's an effective concentration. Use your internal dialogue to stay focused. Yeah, and the tuning into present moment sensation in and of itself will quiet the internal dialogue. And as you're maintaining your concentration, you're gonna get lost in thought, right? So when you get lost in thought, note what you're thinking about, label it. Oh, I'm planning my day, and then you just come back. So we talked about, you pick a spot, come back to your diaphragm, come back to the place between your eyebrows. Let that be your place of focus, and And then, yeah, you return to concentration, and you kind of notice where your mind keeps getting stuck. You notice where your mind keeps getting stuck. Oh, I keep worrying about that situation, or I keep thinking about that embarrassing moment, or I'm always planning for the day. Like, and it's just, that's information. That's information on, yeah, where we get stuck in the day, stuck in our minds. Right. And that, so this practice also prepares us for meditating throughout the day, right? So what does meditating throughout the day look like? I mean, it's basically the same thing. So meditation's kind of showing you what it looks like for when your mind gets stuck, because you're trying to like stay concentrated. So you get very familiar of, getting lost in that feeling, perception, verbal dialogue spiral, right? And you just become more sensitive to that. You get more sensitive to when you're getting stuck in an identity. Let me get my screen right. When you're getting stuck into an identity, and it teaches you how to get out. It's returning to present moment sensation. Right? And it's not that you have to drop, every worry and concern, because like you have to, like, you just consider, is this productive or is it helpful? Like, are you solving a problem? Or is it just causing you unnecessary pain? If it's causing you unnecessary pain and suffering, that your meditation is practice on how to interrupt the process. You tune back into present moment sensation, and you let it pass. Do I consider thought mental sensation? Sixth sense spheres. Yes. I think I liked it though. I heard it once as like because it's like contact. You have sense organ, sense object, and when sense organ and sense object meet, it's contact. So sense organ being the brain, sense object being the thought itself. Six sense spheres: eyes, nose, mouth. Seeing, smelling, hearing, tasting, touching, and thinking. So mental sensation, do I think just calling mental experience an extra sense? Yeah. You guys, I love that you guys are having this conversation. Space Shuttle, join the Discord. You know that story where Laozi and pupils watched sunset. One was saying, man, that's a beautiful little sunset. Laozi turned around and said, don't bring this guy tomorrow. He's talking too much. Beware that you're not becoming that guy. That's a cool story. There's beauty in the natural way. I'm breathing already. Yeah, I like this one. No two breaths are the same. Oh yeah, we're going to talk about that soon. The original is we never step into the same river twice. Nice. Same river twice. That's cool. I've heard that too. Like, everything's a process. Everything's changing for sure. I'd be curious. What's his name? Yeah, it would be cool to read some of him, but apparently it's all broken up and partially lost. You guys are so good. Yes, wasn't that helpful in understanding and translating the Bible, I guess? Every ancient philosopher, which isn't helpful understanding the Bible, is lost in plastic times. I love your guys' conversation. That's very fun. You guys know a decent amount of people. That's so cool. I'm excited. Like part of the reason why I'm so stoked about doing this stream is I want to do it full time. So I just love this stuff. So making it my full-time thing to be able to explore this stuff with people like you who have no awesome teachers, like, that's exactly what I'm here for, dude. So love the conversation. Keep it up. So cool. I love reading this. I'm gonna have to write this stuff down. The logic, I believe, is that it mingles with the physical senses, shows up in the same place, if you will. Oh wait, I missed one. We have 5 physical senses, but I give you that extra intuition skill. Mental experience. The logic, I believe, is that it mingles with the physical senses. Shows up in the same place, if you will. You guys know mind moment stuff. I don't know mind moment. Anyway, I'm gonna keep going. So, right. Okay, I think I did read some phenomenology. I really liked what I read in phenomenology. I haven't read much, mostly on the what's it called? I don't remember. It's like the philosophy website. It's like the encyclopedia of all philosophy. There's like 2 of them. I don't know. I YouTubed it once and told me where to look to find philosophy and international something. I don't know. But yeah, I checked out philosophy on there. I mean, phenomenology on there. That was really fun. It really helped me understand some concepts like I don't know. People in the woohoo circles talk about like losing the self and stuff. Like, oh, I had no sense of self, and I don't know. It kind of broke that down into like plain English on like what that experience actually is. I really like that. I'll just talk about it for a second, like because it talked about consciousness of something. When you have consciousness of something, the self is like so implied. Like if you're reading a book, your consciousness, you're conscious of the book, right? And there is no like when you're absorbed into the book, like that absorption, there's no like self really reading the book, but it's like, but you can like take a step back and you can be conscious of the self reading the book, right? But when you're like lost in the book, there is no self. And I like that just made, that was just so practical to me because it just sounds so mystical. But it's, what does it say? But they say these mental experiences are their own unique chunks, and you can feel them as separate frames that are mingled with chunks of senses. Yeah, that's not relevant, but I'll stop trying to explain the 6 sense spheres. LOL, hopefully it makes sense. They say these mental experiences are their own unique chunks. Mental experiences. And you can feel them as separate frames that are mingling with chunks of senses. I mean, in the mindfulness in plain English, he talks about like that experience of chunks. I mean, I have my own interpretation of it, and I think am I getting into it? I think so. Let me see what my next quote is. And then it talked about how every breath is different. But let's see. Let me change the title to Pause. Don't turn bliss into another goal. That's a new title. Don't turn bliss into another goal. Here we go. Oh shoot. Where are we? There we go. Okay. Let me set my game up. Let me pick a new spot. You want to see our town? Check that out. Our little Venice. So great. All right. But I need to leave at 1 a.m. So I need to get going on this next quote. We have 20 minutes left. Thanks for hanging out, guys, by the way. This is so great. Anarcho Taco. Hello. I like the mushroom hello. Anyway, I should do my pitch before I go into the next quote. This is Magical Mystical Book Tour. It's a book tour. Name pending. It's a book tour because you don't have to read the book. I bring in the quotes. We're reading Mindfulness in Plain English by Bhante Gunaratana. Yeah, so we're on chapter 5. You don't have to read the book. I just bring in the quotes and talk about them, trying to ground some maybe more complicated language or into just something, I don't know, more practical. But yeah, join the Discord. On the Discord, we go chapter by chapter. And my hopes for the Discord is just a cool place for like-minded people into progressing in their spirituality, to just clarify their practice, know how to oh no, you didn't do the reading. You don't have to do the reading. It is a book tour, so you can just come to hang out. You can go on the Discord. You don't have to read there either. You can just see what the insights are, and I don't know, just a cool place to chill. I know Dharma Dom's in there. Anyway, right. So we're getting into this last quote here, which is on the screen. Keep your mind with the changing moments. As moments are incessantly passing away, the mind keeps pace with them, changing with them, appearing and disappearing with them without clinging to any of them. So Dharma Dom, I feel like this is like kind of that. He mentions this too. Mental experiences are their own unique. Why doesn't it do that? Unique chunks, and you can feel them as separate frames that are mingling with chunks of senses. I'm not gonna act like I 100% know what that is, but like this is pointing to my guess on what it is. So like, because you're with present moment sensation, and the sensation is constantly changing, and your mind has to keep pace with it. It's like a shifting, shimmering, nature. I don't know. Like it's a shifty, shimmery kind of feeling. Like when you sense inside, it's not like constant. Like it's like feelings appearing and disappearing, and like your mind has to keep pace with it, because sensations are always arising and passing. So like, I don't know. That's how I take it, because it's just like it's happening so frequently that I don't know. I think that might be like that frame experience. But anyway, this is kind of like my PSA to meditators everywhere. Just like a mistake I got into, because it's like, yeah, moments are passing, they're incessantly passing. So like, I thought when I first started meditating, like sometimes I would just get like really cool sensations, like what I considered like a super special sensation, and that meant like, oh, this is it, I'm doing it. This is and it's pleasant. So I like, I need to keep going, so I need to maintain it. So I'm clinging to the sensation, right? So this is just like, moments are incessantly passing away one after another. Good sensations, powerful bouts of concentration are all gonna arise and pass. And that's my PSA, because I really felt like when powerful sensations would arise, that I need to maintain them. And I felt like when I didn't maintain them, when they would eventually pass, that I did something wrong, that I lost concentration somehow, and now I'm not doing it anymore. It's basically just like the PSA is the present moment can't be wrong. Sometimes it's going to be high sensation, you're feeling inside, it's like, whoa, this is crazy. And other times it's just going to be subtle and not much going on. And it's more just, it's the awareness. Awareness doesn't need anything to change. Right? So, keep your mind with the changing moments. Moments are passing away one after another. Just let it be. Right? And I think that was like, so you, Dharma Dom, you said 2 breaths are never the same. That's all the power of auto-suggestion. I need to go back and anyway, Dharma Dom, you said 2 breaths are never the same. I got really, my yoga teacher would say that no 2 breaths are the same. I got really hung up on that, because as I'm breathing, I would breathe and I would look for differences. Like I'm supposed to find the differences. Each breath needs to be different. but I took it, like what I was talking about before, is I turned it more into that sensations are allowed, special sensations are allowed to pass. And that's what I take it to be now. Like, no two breaths are the same. Right now you're breathing, and maybe you're having a special sensation, but it's not going to stay. Every breath is different. Sometimes they're going to feel special, sometimes they're not. It's just been such a relief. That quote was such a mental hang up for a while, and then it turned into and then it turned into just this permission to I don't know. Yeah, relief. Let me see what you guys are talking about. Gosh, I don't know how to click on things. Why is it doing this? So, oh yeah, close, not exactly, I think. Dumb and Dumb, yeah, close, not exactly, I think. Anarcho Taco, the great eternal now. Future doesn't exist. All recollections of past happen in the present. There is only the present. Exactly. That is definitely what we're talking about. Anarcho Taco. And we're talking about, how do you tune into present moment? What is that? How do you do it? Dumb, like this could also describe the stage that comes prior to seeing chunks, called the third stage of insight. That's all the power of auto-suggestion. I don't know what that means. Space Shuttle 40. Or to translate that, maybe in the Burmese Vipassana system, there's a stage where you are noticing impermanence, or more precisely, the three marks very clearly, followed by a stage where the exact moment of arising and passing away become more distinct and things begin to strobe. He's talking impermanence though, so I'm getting into the weeds, maybe, LOL. Nice. Let me read that again. It's a stage where you are noticing impermanence, and more precisely, the three marks very clearly followed by the stage where the exact moment of arising and passing away become more distinct and things begin to strobe. Okay, so that makes me, I mean, right, this is just me talking, but that just makes me think about like the experience of present moment sensation, a stage called the arising and passing away. Right. I mean, that's what, to me, that's like, because when you tune into, like, when you close your eyes for meditation and you tune into present moment sensation, like, it is a shimmering. And shimmering, like, what is a shimmering? It's just like right underneath the skin. In yoga, it's like fascia. It's the fascia. That's why you're trying to re-enliven the fascia, awareness of the fascia, because it's yeah, coming into and out of existence, I guess, the sensation. It's like, what? It's like a strobing. I don't know. It's shimmering and strobing, kind of. I would think that's kind of the same. And like, because like when, yeah, things are falling in and out of awareness because they're arising and falling. It's impermanence. I think that's all felt sense. That's how I take it. I take it all as felt sense. The sensation of being alive in the body and really being alert to the experience. I think it's saying the same thing, but that's what I think. Autosuggestion, self-influence, refers to a deliberate mental technique in which positive beliefs and affirmations are instilled in one's own subconscious through constant repetition in order to guide thinking, feeling, or behavior. Psychologically, it resembles the placebo effect. It's what you're doing when you meditate. Autosuggestion refers to a deliberate mental technique in which positive beliefs and affirmations are instilled in one's own subconscious through constant repetition in order to guide it thinking, feeling, and behavior. I mean, that sounds like meta meditation to me. Positive beliefs and affirmations. I mean, that sounds like meta meditation to me. Because I don't feel like every time I meditate I'm doing that, but I do feel like I do that when I do practice like a meta. I heard it. It's in that book by. I read, you know, the mainstream ones, I guess. What is it called? Loving Kindness by Sharon Salzberg. I think it was in that quote, or maybe I heard it on a Dharma Seed talk. I think it was actually on a Dharma Seed talk, that meta practice meditation is kind of like digging a trench, because like we have these samskaras, or just mental grooves, where we just go through the same pattern over and over again. But by like that technique of deliberate mental technique of may all beings be happy, healthy, safe, we're digging a new trench for consciousness to flow through, or just our habit mind to flow through. I don't know if it's rhetorical. I tune into present by envisioning desired immediate outcomes. I believe participatory universe plus Gnostic pantheism. So I think about energy and source and where I'd like it to act. I believe universe and Gnostic pan. I'd have to look that up, Anarcho Taco, but let me see if I have anything to say about it. I tune into present by envisioning desired immediate outcomes. In your meditation, so I think about energy and source and where I'd like it to act. I mean, I like that. I feel like I like looking for the similarities. Because I think about energy and source and where I'd like it to act. To me that sounds like present moment sensation. Like I'll tune into my diaphragm and I'm sensing. So what do I consider source? I consider source the bioenergetic hum of my body, like pulsation, nerve firings, just the manifestation of source and energy. So I'm just like, by tuning into present moment sensation, I guess I'm thinking about the energy. I'm not really thinking about it. I'm more like, because thinking about it, it's like conceptual. So I'm not really doing that. It's just like, what is this energy? What is this sensation in and of itself? But I feel like that's the same thing. Yeah, Shimmer, some say I can't diagnose you, of course. Burmese maps are very helpful if you'd like to check them. Oh, that's kind of interesting. Yeah, meta and DT yoga I do sometimes would fall under that, although belief in affirmations doesn't map very cleanly to meta. That's true. That's true. Belief in affirmation doesn't. Positive beliefs. Wait, well, I don't know. Is it not? Affirmation? Let's look. I'm gonna look up the exact definition of affirmation. Affirmation is the act of affirming, or the state of being affirmed. To declare positively, assert to be true. To declare something positive and assert to be true. Declare support for or belief in. I don't know. Is meta not an affirmation? I don't know. And a belief that all beings. I don't know. Belief that all beings should be happy. I don't know. Sometimes it's like, because sometimes you believe that like people shouldn't be happy. Gnosticism haven't aged that good, if you ask me. I don't know anything about that. There are 3 dense compatible frameworks. Yeah, lol. Yes, I am big on intentionality. What we perceive, we dwell on. What we perceive, we dwell on. We believe, we give power to. Replying to Space Shuttle, Gnosticism haven't aged that good, if you ask me. I take them all as a framework, not dogma. The Gnostics fight good versus evil. Poison, if you ask me. In truth, it's not evil versus good. It's good versus another good. Yeah, I don't know anything about this stuff. But let me keep going with what I was saying. I love all the convo, though. You guys are very entertaining. Stick around. It's very cool. So yeah, anyway. So I was saying, Dharma Dom, you mentioned no 2 breaths are the same. That was a mental hang up for me, because I was like trying to why do these breaths feel the same? I need to develop the perception I need to develop the refinement in my felt sense that every breath feels different, and it'll be a realization like, oh my goodness, every breath is different. But now it's more of like a release. Now it's like because sometimes I have, whoa, that was a really cool feeling and I need to maintain it. No. That's not what you don't need to do that. Every breath is different. Sometimes it'll feel nice, and sometimes it feels like very blah. And the present moment can't be wrong. So this is my PSA quote: that every breath can be different, and the present moment can't be wrong. Every breath is different. Yeah, and it goes back to like, what is our intention through the meditation? I think it's all about recognizing mind essence or source, whatever you want to call it, unconditioned mind from the mind activity. It's a space between our thinking, and I love it. I love the word recognition. I love the word recognition for this recognizing awareness, because recognition implies you've seen it before. You don't recognize something you haven't seen before. You've seen it 10 times and then you recognize it. The present moment can also be good. Can't also be good. The present moment can't also be good. Don't forget that detail. Well, why can't the present moment be good? Okay. Anyway, I like the word recognition for unconditioned mind, because you've seen it before. So every time you sit into meditation and you tune into present moment sensation, you're tapping into unconditioned mind. It's the space between your thoughts. It's not at least the teachers that I've listened to, so many have affirmed that it's not this like egoically satisfying experience. I listen to Eckhart Tolle some, and he's like, your ego won't be around to experience it. As in, it's just not it's not a satisfying experience, because the ego is into satisfaction. So no ego's there, so it's not satisfying. Anyway, every time you meditate, every time you do yoga, every time you tune into present moment sensation, you're seeing it. And it you do this for a couple of years, right? And you see it over and over and over again. And then it's a recognition. I feel like it's a recognition. Like, the recognition is, oh, I know what this is. I've seen it 100 times. This is that unconditioned mind. This is source. But it's familiar. It's you recognize it because it's become familiar, and it's like, oh, this is what I've been doing. That's something else I feel like is true, is like, we talk about the path, right? But I think the practice I think the path is the destination. Like, if you're on the path, if you're practicing, like, you're already there. And it's just more of recognizing that you're already there. It's a recognition, the space between thoughts, right? So, right? Because I'm sure there's some aspect in your life where you're not satisfied. That's the ego. It wants something. It's hungry for something. Maybe it's trying to find the right relationship, or wondering if you're in the right relationship, or losing weight, or, making more money, right? There's something that our mind craves and is greedy for. And each craving is its own mind activity, its own entity, its own ego. And as we sit in meditation, we see these thoughts come up, and then we tune into present moment sensation, and the thought relaxes and it rests, and then we're in unconditioned mind. But it's so subtle, but you're doing it, and then it's like seeing black words on a white piece of paper, right? Like, the black words being our verbal dialogue, our ego senses that are talking and wanting something, and then the awareness in and of itself, which is the space between those. And we tune into that through sensing into present moment sensation. And yeah, eventually we recognize it. And I feel like what we recognize too is that, like, the unconditioned mind And the difference between the unconditioned mind and the conditioned mind is that, well, the conditioned mind needs things to be a certain way. It says, I need this to be happy. Like, I want this person so I can be happy. I need to lose this much weight so I can be happy. And when we, like, so say you're in this thought spiral of not liking the way you look, right? And you're in conditioned mind, and I don't like it. And then you tune into the sensation in and of itself, and you take on the perspective of awareness in and of itself, right? Awareness is unconditioned mind. It doesn't need anything. It says to the sadness, it says to the pain and whatever emotion is there, that, you know, you can say, you can stay. Dog is crying. Why is my dog crying? It's late. Anyway, so it's not perfect, you know, the unconditioned mind. It's not this, like, it's not necessarily this blissed out place, not Om Shanti. The present moment can't be wrong, right? So, yeah, maybe there's sadness and disappointment or anxiety or fear. And the conditioned mind, the ego, wants to solve these problems. There's nothing wrong with that. You can solve problems. But sometimes it gets unproductive. And we can recognize when it gets unproductive, and we can step into the unconditioned mind. Unconditioned mind, it's important. I think it's important to recognize this freedom of the conditioned mind needs something to change. And when you step into unconditioned mind and are with the sensation in and of itself and the perception in and of itself, nothing needs to change. Awareness says you can stay. I know there's like this cool poem. It's called like The Guest House. And it's like, whatever arises, you're welcome. That's the whole idea. And I think another thing to notice too, because I mean, they talk about how this is like an ultimate happiness, is like, you know, conditioned mind, I want a truck. The conditioned mind is like, I want a truck. And then we get the truck and it's satisfying, right? And why, and okay, this actually brings me into this last quote, and then I'm done. This was a quote, I think, from chapter 1 of Mindfulness in Plain English. Feeling good is the primary issue in human experience. We give the basic goal of feeling good many surface objectives: wealth, sex, entertainment, respect. But these surface objectives aren't what we're after. What we're really after is the feeling of relief that comes when the drive is satisfied. So yeah, you want the sex, wealth, right? You get it, and there is a satisfaction there. But what this is saying is maybe the relief is the release of craving. Right? Because I want the new truck. I get the new truck. And then there's that moment. I don't need it anymore. Right? But then another craving will come up, and we're going to have to feed that craving. Right? But awareness doesn't need anything to be different. Right? So when we tap into awareness and everything is welcome as it is, whatever the feeling is, the relief is there. Like, the relief that we're looking for through getting something is always now. It's always now. Because we can stop identifying with ego self. We can stop identifying with our desires that feel this bad feeling and say, I need to change it. Right? It needs a surface objective. It's going after the relief. And there's a relief in the awareness itself. The refuge in the awareness itself that needs nothing and says, you can stay. Right? And that's maybe the release of craving. So, I don't know. They talk about finding rest and relief. I mean, I love that word relief. He used it. We are really after is the feeling of relief that comes when the drive is satisfied, as in when the craving is satisfied. I feel like the promise is you don't have to satisfy the craving. You can just tap into awareness that needs nothing. And your relief is always now. The relief is always now, and it's through the body. The body is the path. What is it? What is the sensation of being alive in this bioenergetic body? That is awareness. All right. That's all I'm gonna do for today. Let me read these texts though. I love your guys' chat. The Gnostic fight. Okay. I didn't know anything about that. Can't put an endless nest. Wait, hold on. Semantic maybe though. Can't you pull out endless nested beliefs for any action? The present moment can't also be good. Don't forget that detail. The present moment can't also be good. Okay. Every breath nourishes. Definitely. Have you checked out Anapanasati? Yes, Buddha's breathing technique. Part of it is noticing impermanence. So Larry used that quote to explain that part of the practice. Yeah, Anapanasati for sure. I think that's Anapanasati, that's like the 16 pieces, components, I'm pretty sure. Maybe I'm thinking about something else. I don't know. I'm pretty sure it is though. When the present, yeah, 16, yeah, cool. When the present moment cannot be bad, then it also cannot be good. Your escapism is fancy already. You're desperately not yourself, so much I can say. Your escapism is fancy already. I don't know what that means. When the present moment cannot be bad, then it also cannot be good. I would say more that the present moment can't be wrong. I mean, you can definitely not like it. It's not like, it's more just saying like, what I mean to say is that the present moment is allowed to be bad, is what I'm saying. Like if you're like looking at yourself in the mirror and you just hate the way you look and it feels terrible, awareness is saying to that pain, you can stay. So it's not, I think I would phrase it more as, wait, where'd it go? Oh, the present moment cannot be wrong. Right, because, yeah. And because I feel like there's a tendency to like cling to like, I'm not, Buddhism is practicing the ultimate happiness. Why am I upset or sad or angry or something? Like it's wrong. I don't know. Anger is wrong and I'm not supposed to feel this way. I think what I'm trying to say is you shouldn't should on yourself. That's like a classic way to say it, right? Don't should on yourself. I shouldn't feel this way, is what I'm trying to say about the present moment. I don't know what your escapism is fancy already. You're desperately not yourself, so much I can say. I don't know what that means. What's so bad is being a total common human? What's so bad in being a total common human? Why that desire to mutate into a godless Buddha figure? I mean, all that stuff you're striving for is granted automatically to you when you're able to stop striving for it. Try loving yourself instead. Why so bad? What's so bad in being a total common human? I agree. Why that desire to mutate into a godless Buddha figure? I don't know what that means. I mean, all the stuff you're striving for is granted automatically to you when you are able to stop striving for it. I agree. Try loving yourself instead. Agree. I may not clearly, maybe you're agreeing with me. I agree with you. Because it's all about tuning into present moment sensation. Tapping into awareness itself. Everything is no shooting on yourself. Present moment can't be wrong. And I like try loving yourself. I think that is like, exactly. I feel like that is such the perfect, I don't know, definition of love, because it's like you have, this terrible feeling about like you hate your financial situation, right? And there's just this feel like you have this conglomerate of feelings, perception, and this terrible internal dialogue about how you suck as a human. And then you separate it and you are with the feeling of itself, and you would perceive that as I'm a awful person. And then awareness, in this awareness, you just hold it in this awareness, and it's like, you can stay, you know, you don't need to go anywhere. Awareness doesn't need anything. I don't need you to do anything or go anywhere. And like, isn't that like so accepting? Like that to me is what loving yourself is, or what loving myself is from that permission to not have to be a certain way or to feel a certain way, and not get confined in it either. Because like, yeah, I'm upset about financial situation, and then I can confine myself in this prison of a week of dialogue of just getting stuck in this feeling and feeding it with dialogue. And like, yeah, there's just this way out, and it's love for the feeling in and of itself of that pain. And it's, you can stay. I love that. You don't have to strive for anything. It's granted automatically. Exactly. When you're able to stop striving for it. Exactly. Because the striving is, I don't like my money situation. I need to strive to finally be happy and fix myself. But no, it's like, and not that there's nothing wrong with goals and improvement, but you can just be so mean to yourself. And this is just a sanctuary, a refuge in awareness itself. Yeah, and people call it love for sure. I think so. Sounds like love to me. Anyway, I'm done. Follow if you're enjoying this, enjoying the chat. Subscribe. $10 donation to Water Aid at 8 subs. We're almost there. 8 more. That's not that many. Anyway, Discord. Join the Discord too. Yeah, we're going over chapter 6 next. Great place to just check out other people's insights on the current book. Good stream. Thank you, Anarcho Taco. I appreciate it. I worked hard on this one. Peace, power, love, and rage. Cool. 07. I don't know what that means, but thank you. I appreciate you, the compliment. I worked hard on this one. Anyway, thank you for hanging out. Thank you for chatting. I had a really great time. Thank you for all of the new teachers I want to check out. I'm so stoked. I'm just so stoked to have a whole bunch of like-minded people in here and talking about this stuff. I just think it's so cool. Yeah. I appreciate you all so much. And I guess I'm out of here. Yeah, I'm gonna leave a buy screen on, so if you want to sit for a while, because I definitely need to, I'm going to bed, but I will not be able to sleep without sitting for a bit. So I'll leave this on for a little bit and then I'll end the stream. But thank you all. Follow, subscribe, and join the Discord. Peace out.